The Arabian equivalent of Atlantis, an old famous city, disappeared not into the ocean, but into the desert sands. In legends, the city is called Ubar, the Atlantis of the sands. But Ubar seems to really exist. Join a ride to the famous archaeological site and to the kick-off to our first real adventure of this journey in the harsh Rub al Khali desert of Oman. Welcome everyone, we just landed in Oman in Salalah, and this here behind me is all of our luggage, quite a lot, and tomorrow we will start this adventure. With a population of 163,000 people, Salalah is the most southern city in Oman that you can reach by airplane, only 150 kilometers from the border of Yemen. It is famous for its endless white beaches, its history, and it is that place to go if you decide not only to visit Oman's more touristic north, but to head on a road trip through the whole country. What you say here for hello? Hello is salam? Merhaba. Indeed, many guided tours through Oman include Salalah as a stop, but the vast majority of tourists visiting the area do so by taking a 2-hour return flight from Oman's capital Muscat and skip the long road trip through some of Oman's most remote areas that we were about to head to. Welcome to the beautiful beach of Salalah. Your hotel beach, by the way, should be the only place where you display swimsuits or shorts. Wherever else you go in Oman, you should always cover your shoulders and wear long pants to respect the local culture. So that's Brett, and he's showing us the bikes for this ride, which are?
We've got a Yamaha Tenere 700, brand new, direct from Germany, and an Africa Twin that's done about 600 kilometres. So hopefully they're reliable and you enjoy the good weather.
Hopefully we bring them back in the same shape that you give them us.
Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Yeah.
It's the first day of riding in Oman, and these are our bikes. As you can see, they are pretty full with luggage. I'm gonna ride the Yamaha Tenere, at least for this first part of the trip. And the problem is that we booked so late that only these bikes were available, and the luggage here is super small, and we as well brought camping gear. So we look like packed donkeys. Hello everyone, welcome to the new trip. I'm so excited about this. Initially we already had planned to come here over Christmas, but due to some family emergencies we had to postpone the trip. And now, a few months later, after I got COVID and all sorts of shit happened, I'm finally here. I really can't believe it. It just feels unreal. So these here on the sides are banana plantations. I didn't know that before, but Salalah area has lots of bananas growing here. So when in Oman, eat Omani bananas. So we want to buy some water here in Salalah because the first rule when going into the desert is always bring enough water, even if you are only traveling on main roads in the beginning, because you never know what happens. And here it looks as if there are some shops. My travel partner, by the way, planned to join this trip for the first few days. After reaching the more northern part of Oman, I would continue traveling alone. And yes, he still wants to stay private and nameless for personal reasons. And no, he is not bothered by the name travel partner. Indeed, he prefers that to using a fake name, which would be the only other good option to protect his privacy as requested. And please guys, always remember, I'm not traveling with people because they are suitable for social media, but because I like them. So before we are traveling north along the coast of Oman, we are first heading inland now, and I actually think this will be one of the biggest adventures of this whole trip. We will head into the desert, but first we have to cover a few hundred kilometers, and we will go to one of the historical places that is most famous here in the whole south of Oman, because there our real adventure starts. From the city Salalah, we were riding inland for about 175 kilometers to the town Ubar. And on the way we were able to see why Oman was a wealthy and famous trading point already thousands of years ago. We go off now to this place that is called Frankincense Tree Park. Just want to see it because frankincense has played such an important part in the history of Oman. Frankincense has been used for 6,000 years as a perfume and panacea. Oman produces the world's finest and most expensive frankincense, a substance ancient Egyptians called the sweat of the gods. Today, Oman's frankincense trees and a number of caravan routes and ports dating from the 4th century BC are known as the Land of Frankincense UNESCO World Heritage Site. The trade in frankincense that flourished in this region for many centuries was one of the most important trading activities of the ancient and medieval world. Indeed, frankincense was as precious as gold for centuries. We head to the next town now called Tumrait because we need to buy supplies for our desert excursion. And I did some research, and the little village Ubar, where our excursion is supposed to start, doesn't look like it has any markets. So this here might be our last chance before the desert to buy some food and drinks. When arriving in Tumrait, we were in a pretty good mood and ready to shop, but the first market we came by was closed, as was the second. Yeah. Should we drive to this other one and see what they have? Otherwise, I think the next one might have something too. Oh man, I always forget that everything closes during prayer time. It's like every time I'm in a Muslim country, I forget it, and I'm again like, oh, I should have thought about it. But I hope this one is still open and we don't need to wait forever in the heat. So we just wanted to buy something and the market is closed, so we go to Ubar now to hopefully get something. So this wasn't a big success overall. We bought some water in this little shop in Salalah, but we have no food whatsoever. So fingers crossed now that there will be something in Ubar. I actually couldn't see anything on Google Maps, but there are some tourists every now and then, so there should be a small shop or something. If not, I don't know. Excuse my words, but otherwise we will be pretty f***ed. So here's the sign that says Shizir 52 kilometers. I have actually no clue how to pronounce it. Yeah, but it's an archaeological site. And I will tell you more about the crazy history of this place when we are there. But just so you don't get confused, here on the sign stands Shizir, but it is also called Ubar. And both names are actually right. One is the name of the town, Shizir, and the other one, Ubar, is the name of this legendary lost city. But if you read in Western travel guides about it, it's mostly called Ubar. And I think Omanis tend more to use Shizir because it's the location of the town that has been there since a little while. Shizir is, by the way, not pronounced Shizir, but Shazir. So this is so interesting and surreal. The sign here warns of water on the road. If it rains and you see those sticks, if the water is at the red mark, you should not cross anymore. I mean, it feels surreal that here in the hot desert it sometimes rains so much that you have water standing here on the road. The most southern region of Oman is Dhofar. It is the largest of the 11 governorates of Oman. Dhofar is the only region on the whole Arabic Peninsula that is affected by the yearly monsoon. While the rest of the Arabic Peninsula witnesses a rise in temperatures of up to 45 degrees Celsius in summer, in Salalah, the capital of Dhofar, temperatures barely rise above 27 degrees Celsius. Oh, hello camels again! I just love those. I always think they look like out of a Star Wars movie with these long legs and the funny way they walk. I hope I'm not insulting them with calling them funny. Okay, bye camels. Ubar is an archaeological site and called the Lost City. And the closer we got to Ubar, the less cars we met. I felt like getting lost myself, on the long straight asphalt bands that are cutting through the desert sands. Here, 3 hours from Salalah, in what feels like the middle of nowhere due to non-existent traffic and the monotony of the desert, one of the greatest archaeological finds of the 1990s, yes, even the last century, can be visited. Ubar is the Arabian equivalent of Atlantis, except that instead of sinking in the bottom of the sea, legend says that the old city disappeared into the desert sands. That's why Ubar is as well called Atlantis of the Sands. In 1992, a team of scientists found ruins through satellite imagery in the Rub al Khali desert, and according to their speculations, the ruins of Ubar were located in the village today known as Shazir. Ubar was built around 5,000 years ago, 3000 BC, and there are many similarities of the ruins in Shazir and ancient documents that describe the legendary Ubar, like the fort being surrounded by 8 walls and the sinkhole that half of the fort disappeared in. Sections of the fort today still stand at the edge of the sinkhole and can be accessed by visitors. That means if you are lucky. Not on our arrival in Ubar, nor when we departed the site was open, so the only glimpse that we got on the famous lost city was through its surrounding fences. So this is downtown Ubar. There is this side of the lost city, and here's a restaurant, but don't know if they have any food to sell that we can take with us. So let's look a bit further. We are in Ubar now and looking for some food because we didn't get food in the last time because it was prayer time. Now we have a little bit problems because there are no proper shops here. So we will see. So we found some bread here, and we as well will get an omelette, which is very nice. So we don't need to eat something later. Rashid was our hero of the day because he not only sold us bread, tomatoes and my favorite Bashkiri cream cheese that doesn't need any cooling, but as well made us a fantastic lunch omelette. The best egg sandwich in town, or maybe in Oman. With our stomachs filled, we were ready for the real adventure. A ride into the unknown. A ride into the famous empty quarters. A ride into the heart of the Rub al Khali desert. Thank you guys for watching the first detailed ride of the Oman series, and you just have to tune in next week. We will have an adventurous ride into the Rub al Khali desert, camp out in the wild all by ourselves, and in the end will nearly lose our luggage. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment. And I hope to see each and every one of you who is brave enough to join our ride into one of the harshest territories of this planet next week.